Swift's work on the opening race of the season at Homestead, and Richie will be hoping that it'll work as well for him when they go to Fontana on September 28th.
That's right, yes. We're watching Andre Ribeiro at the moment, but just going back to Richie Hearn, he's a punchy young driver. He's really got a lot of fire about him. I'm looking forward to seeing him in what should be a much faster car for the final race, just to see what he can do. It's going to be a tall order. He's not going to get much time in it beforehand, but it should be fun to see whether Richie Hearn and Della Penna Motorsports can salvage something from a disappointing season. Certainly some team that has salvaged a fair bit is this team. Andre Ribeiro and Tasman, who also started with the Lola chassis, remember, was an awful start to the season. Ribeiro switched to the Reynard, and he's certainly picked up some good results since then. We can keep a little eye on the telemetry there of Andre Ribeiro's car, showing the acceleration out of the corner. So top speed about 175 miles an hour, perhaps a bit more, yeah, just nudging 180 as he goes down towards turn number 2 there. Gets down the inside, does he, of PJ Jones, just about. Jones just staying with him around the outside for a moment. Yeah, Jones has not been very helpful this afternoon. He held up Vassar royally. It cost him at least a couple of seconds. All the gap that he'd made up over Scott Pruitt was swept away inside a couple of corners. Quite surprised at PJ Jones, although Alex Zanardi might take issue with me on that one. He had a couple of run-ins with the guy, but now he's certainly kept out of the way there of Andre Ribeiro, and they can get on with the business. Ribeiro incidentally has certainly done a good job in closing down some of that deficit to Mark Blundell, the two Pac West cars indeed that are running ahead of him. Yes, he's got it down to 7 seconds now, the gap between himself and Blundell. It was 10 seconds, so he's doing well. Let's hear from Richie Hearn in the pits.
According to the crew, it's good news and bad news for you. Obviously the bad news, you're out of the race, but I guess good news, you finally put the Lola out of its misery. You'll have a Swift in the next race.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of a sad ending to a tough year for this car, and we actually weren't running too bad. I was really able to run with those guys. I picked the harder compound tires to qualify with, so I think I was much more consistent during the run, but we're looking forward to the next race with the Swift at Fontana, and hopefully we can have a really good finish there.
Were even the harder tires going off for you?
I never had a problem. I was running just as good at the end of the run as I was at the beginning. All weekend long I've been like that, so it worked out for me, and it's just unfortunate I didn't get to finish the race.
All right, we look forward to seeing you in the Swift. Thanks.
Thank you.
Richie Hearn, a name where may figure more strongly next year. If they get their package together correctly, they will be running the Swift next year, and if they produce a good car for next season, which looks promising, have to say. The Swift has been good this year. Just towards the end of the season, they seem to have tailed off a little bit, but with a full winter program of testing under their belts, and they're looking to have the 1998 car ready very early, and to get plenty of testing in, then the Swift chassis could really be a force to be reckoned with next year. There's the other one, by the way, of Christian Fittipaldi, and he's still running down in 12th position behind Bobby Rahal. These two have been pretty much together for a major part of the race, but again, positions not really changing in this part of the field.
No, that's right. Again, as we said earlier on, both these two on Goodyear tyres, and if we look down the order, we've got Jimmy Vassar, Scott Pruitt, Alex Zanardi, the two Pac West cars, Andre Ribeiro, the top 6 all on Firstones, then Gilles de Ferro, and he's the quickest once again of a Goodyear class after Herder's falling back there, and then 8th place is Greg Moore, 9th is Herder, and 10th Jourdain, so 8 Firestone cars in the top 10.
Back on board with Bobby Rahal. Let's just watch this view into turn 2. Hairpin left coming up here. Oh, and indeed coming up is Fittipaldi. He's just come down the inside. Well, that was a good time to put the onboard camera on as Christian made the move, but he went in too quick and he wasn't able to hold it, so Bobby's retaken that 11th place, just as it seemed to have all settled down between these two. Bobby went in wide. Christian took the opportunity, but in fact he couldn't hold the pace of the car down enough. Ran wide himself, and Bobby nipped back through. So it's proving to be quite a nice little dice between these two.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Good effort there by Christian, not able to pull it off that time. So a reprieve there for Bobby Rahal.
Well, we're going to have another little look at that, hopefully. Bobby Rahal, let's just watch this onboard. This is down the hill, through the corkscrew. I wish that showed how steep. We went and stood round there earlier on Friday during practice, and I can tell you that is seriously steep on that section. It's really quite hard to walk up it, and Bobby Rahal makes it look quite flat from that onboard camera, but it is something they experience in the car. Not the most difficult corner on the track perhaps, but it's certainly the most notable. Now then, this was the pass that Christian attempted on Bobby. Down the inside, made a nice pass, but the car then ran wide in the middle part of the corner. Christian then kept enough of an eye on his mirror to know that Bobby was back through on the inside. Good driving from both of them.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to try it, and both of them had their wits about them. No silly stuff on the exit.
So Bobby, who's a four-time winner on this racetrack, and he certainly had a lot of success here in the mid-80s, particularly from 1984 through to 1987. It was also a very successful time for Bobby Rahal in terms of the overall championship. Bobby Rahal, in fact, three times winner of the PPG Kart Cup, and the first two victories came when that successful period when he was winning here at Laguna Seca. 1986 and 1987 he scored back-to-back victories in the championship. It took a few more years. It was 1992 before he took his third win. Jimmy Vasser leads after 49 laps of being completed here at Laguna Seca. We've got a car into the pits, so it looks like PJ Jones has come in, and we are getting into the vicinity of most of the second round of pit stops now. Within a few laps, we'll expect to see all of the cars coming in once again, but Vasser leads at the moment by just over a second from Scott Pruitt. Third place still is the man chasing the championship here today, Alex Zanardi. Third would be more than enough for him to wrap up the title and the $1 million that goes with it. Maurizio Gugelmin in fourth position, Mark Blundell in fifth, Andre Ribeiro sixth, then Gilles de Ferran, Greg Moore, Brian Herter, and Michel Jourdain still in the top 10. He's doing a fine job out there this afternoon, just 21 years old, the Mexican, in his first full season of racing. They did a great job in qualifying, and he's doing a great job in the race too.
I'll tell you who else is doing a great job, and that's Roberto Moreno. He's only running in 17th position, but you know, he had no time in this car. He hopped in it for the first time yesterday afternoon in qualifying, and then he got 7 laps in qualifying. He got another 8 or 9 laps this morning, and his last lap was a 1 minute 11.676. The race leader, Jimmy Vasser, did a 1 minute 11.669. So he's running identical pace to the race leader. That's a very impressive effort from Roberto Moreno. He's caught right up with Raul Boesel and Alan Jr., who are just ahead of him on the racetrack.
It's good news, Roberto, who really had a surprise yesterday when they suddenly decided that Patrick Carpentier couldn't drive the car. He had been trying to, with a carbon fibre cast over his shoulder. He broke his collarbone in a recent mountain biking accident. Didn't race last time. And Roberto, 45 minutes before the second qualifying, they said, "Oi, Roberto, you're driving." So it was all a bit of a panic, but they got him in the car, and he's doing a fine job in the race. Jimmy Vasser leads, though. Pruitt seconds and Artie third, and then the two Pac West cars of Guterman and Blundell. So it's interesting to watch these two Pac West cars. They've really been running line astern for quite a number of laps now, absolutely identical on pace. They had a nice week, both guys going off to Bruce McCaw's place in near Seattle, up in the countryside. They did a bit of karting, they did all sorts of fun and games up there. Not only do they run a PPG kart team, they also run a team in Indy Lights and also a team in the touring cars. So they had a whole bunch of drivers up there, all the team members. I think they had a rather fun time in Seattle.
Yes, apparently it's a very, very impressive place. There's Gualter Salas now putting pressure on Bobby Rahal. So Christian Fittipaldi has finally made a way through past Bobby Rahal, and Gualter Salas now trying to follow suit. But just back on the Pac West thing a little bit, no luck for the Indy Lights team this morning. There's Dario Franchitti off the road. That's
disappointment for Dario. We can't see what's happened. I wonder what's happened there. He was running down in 14th position, outside the points. Remember, they scored down to 12th in the PPG Kart Series. But Dario is out of it again, and that's the third race in succession that he's gone off. So that really is a great disappointment. Rookie of the year really almost gone from him unless something miraculous happens in the final race in Fontana.
Yeah, he was dicing with Alan Jr., so I don't know whether there was something there between them, we didn't see what happened.
Well, maybe we'll get a chance to see as Jourdain right behind Herter there. Franchitti gets help from the kart safety guys, and I wonder what happened there. I mean, there has been an incident between Al and Dario before. That was in Portland earlier this year. I just hope that nothing went wrong between them on this occasion. Meanwhile, let me tell you, I can get a view of the pit. So let's have a look. This is what happened. Oh, well, he lost it basically under braking. Apparently he was reporting some braking troubles to his team over the radio just a few laps earlier, and it looks as though those braking troubles caught him out, and that's a great disappointment. He's actually a driver who's very easy on his brakes normally. Talking to his engineers, they say he's very light on the brakes, and I just wonder whether they didn't get the setup right. Of course, remember, they can put a different amount of ducting on the brakes, and we're getting quite a long way into the race. Perhaps the brakes just overheating and getting into trouble.
Yeah, look at this lot there, stacked up behind one of the Renault Toyotas there. That is the battle for second place. Pruitt, Zanardi, and then the two Pat West cars. Juan Fangio keeping right out of the way. Nice job, Juan. Let this battle go on ahead. Meanwhile, Jimmy Vasser has pulled out a pretty substantial advantage.
Yeah, and also, let me tell you that all the pit crews... Oh, Dario's back on the track. That's one thing about this series. If your car's okay, they'll always try and get you back in the race. Now, whether he'll continue, we'll see. Let me tell you that Brian Herter has just come into the pit lane as you continue to watch this group that's battling for second place, climbing their way up the hill. But we are really now getting into the battle of pit stops, and this is where the race could be decided. Brian Herter into the pits. He's out of it, really. Remember, he lost so much time earlier, particularly when Jimmy Vasser went past him. Brian ran onto the dirt. That was really where he lost all of the ground when he was leading the race earlier on. But what we need to see now is the first of this lead group coming in. Yes, there they go. Scott Pruitt, Zanardi peels into the track, into the pits. Guterman also. Meanwhile, Jimmy Vasser and Mark Blundell, they stay out on track. This is really going to be tight stuff now, as Zanardi's crew and Pruitt's crew go to work there in the pit lane.
Yeah, certainly last time around, Vasser was, as we talked about earlier on, he was able to go one lap more. So the first stops was made on lap 27 for all these people. Now they're in on lap 54. But there goes Pruitt away.
Zanardi's got in front of him. Zanardi's ahead of Pruitt. So it worked for Ganassi. They've done a great job. And that should get Zanardi out in at least second. Oh, and Guterman's in front of Pruitt. Bad stop from the Patrick team, the Brabham Sports team, as Guterman has also got in front of Scott Pruitt.
Yeah, that's interesting. But you know what? Looking ahead here, we've got 29 laps to go. Both their first two stints have only done 27 laps. So that's going to be interesting. Are they going to have enough fuel to get to the end of this race?
Well, we shall have to see. Of course, Jimmy Vasser could be in good shape. As you said, he came in later than anyone else. And Mark Blundell is also pushing it one more lap on this stint. So he may be in good shape as well. And we'll wait to see if Vasser comes in on this next lap, or maybe he can go one more lap. There he is. He is in this time, so he only goes one extra lap again. And Jimmy Vasser, will he come back out in front, or will it be Zanardi? Of course, still a few other guys to make their stops yet. A little bit of a wing change again. No clock running on this one, unfortunately, as he gets going. Now then, we'll try and keep an eye on where everybody else is. There's Mark Blundell. He's not going to be out ahead of Vasser. In fact, it doesn't look like a particularly quick stop. Oh, bit of a battle coming out. There goes Blundell. Parker Johnson was in a battle coming out onto the pits there. And onto track comes Mark. Now then, where are the others? Where is Zanardi? Where is Scott Pruitt relative to Jimmy Vasser? Did he come out just ahead of them? I think he may have done, but he's not up to speed yet. So we wait to see what the situation is. We'll try and let you know as they come past our commentary position a little further around the track.
Yeah, here comes Jimmy Vasser. Past us now pretty slow there. Obviously fresh tyres for Jimmy Vasser. Second is actually Mark Blundell. So a great stop by those guys. Zanardi in third. There goes Guterman in fourth. And Pruitt back to fifth. So all change there.
Yes, indeed. Jimmy Vasser once again has made a great stop. You're watching Christian Fittipaldi come out, but Vasser has been able to maintain the lead, and he now is going to try and go for his first victory of the 1997 season, and Zanardi's going for the championship. Welcome back, and this has just happened. Zanardi's just been trying to get past Mark Blundell. He got it wrong. He locked up under brakes into turn 2, and Alex has just lost a couple of places. He's now down into 5th place. Another replay on board Alex as Blundell, he's trying to get past, squeezes down the inside, but runs out of time to get the braking done, runs onto the dirt. Lots of corrective lock being applied. He did well to actually keep it under control and restrained himself from spinning once he was on the dirt. but that has meant that he's dropped down to 5th place now. So it's Jimmy Vasser leading, and look how close Mark Blundell is. Mark Blundell is in 2nd place here. The gap just 4/10 of a second last time around, and Blundell is beginning to put in a spurt in the latter third of this race. 25 laps to go. Vasser leads, Blundell 2nd, Guterman 3rd, Scott Pruitt 4th, and Alex Zanardi now down in 5th.
Yeah, and all that good work has gone out of the window. He's still doing fine as far as the championship is concerned. He's still a couple of places ahead of Gilles de Ferran. That's all he needs to do, but pretty good attempt to get down the inside.